Hey everyone, welcome. So let's talk about what really separates a good technologist from a truly great IT architect. And here's a hint. It's not just about knowing more tech. It's about a specific set of skills that turn cool tech solutions into something the business actually cares about. Real, tangible value.
All right, so first up, what's an architect's real job anyway? I mean, it's not just about drawing diagrams with boxes and lines, right? It's really about solving a very specific, often incredibly expensive problem that plagues almost every organization.
Seriously, think about this for a second. We've all seen this happen, right? You've got a project with beautiful, elegant code, the latest and greatest tech, a super smart engineering team, and at the end of the day, it just falls flat. It doesn't move the needle for the business at all. Why on earth does this happen so often? Well, the scale of this problem is kind of shocking. Studies have shown that more than half, over 50%, of all IT projects fail because of a disconnect between the tech and what the business actually needs. Just think about that. That's billions of dollars and an unimaginable number of hours just gone.
And this really gets to the heart of it. The fix isn't always about writing better code or picking a different framework. The real solution is having a different kind of architect, someone who steps up and acts like a genuine technology strategist for the business. Okay, so if that's the goal, how do you actually become that kind of architect? Well, the good news is there's a blueprint. It's called the ISA Business Technology Architecture Body of Knowledge, which is a mouthful, so we're just going to call it the BTABoK.
Now, what I find really cool about this is that it's a people framework. This isn't one of those super rigid, process-heavy things you have to follow to the letter. No, the BTABoK is all about you, the individual. It's a practical guide for leveling up your own personal skills and abilities. And you know, IS's own definition of IT architecture just nails this idea. They call it the art and science. The art is that creative, big-picture vision. The science is the discipline and the rigor. But pay attention to the last few words, because they're the most important. Valuable, technology, strategy. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
So how does the BTABoK actually organize this journey from technologist to strategist? Well, it's all built on 5 core pillars of competency. And mastering these is really the key to becoming a well-rounded, effective architect, no matter what your specialty is.
First up, and you could argue it's the most important one, is business technology strategy. This is the why. This is about getting so deep into the business that you can talk about profit and loss, about competitive advantage. It's how you define what needs to be built and, crucially, explain why it even matters. Then you've got pillar 2, human dynamics, the who. And look, this is a big one. You can be the most brilliant technical mind in the world, but if you can't communicate, negotiate, or lead a team, your ideas are basically dead in the water. This is all about influence, inspiration, and navigating that tricky thing we call organizational politics. Pillar 3 is design, which is the how. This is what most people picture when they think of architecture, right? The blueprints, the diagrams. But the BTABoK adds a critical layer here. It's not just about creating the design. It's about being able to clearly document and justify every single important decision you made along the way. Next is pillar 4, the IT environment, or the where. This is the reality check. This is what keeps your architecture grounded. It's about understanding the real-world constraints, the legacy infrastructure, the security policies, the operational realities. You ignore this, and you end up with a beautiful ivory tower design that can never actually be built.
And finally, we have pillar 5, quality attributes, the how well. You know them, you love them, the famous abilities, scalability, security, performance, maintainability. These are the things that make a system ready for the real world. And the BTABoK is crystal clear on this. The architect owns these. Okay, so knowing the pillars is the first step, but real mastery comes from navigating the tensions within them. Take human dynamics, for example. You're constantly balancing being a leader and a manager. Leadership is about casting a vision, inspiring people, getting them excited about the future. Management is about the nuts and bolts, execution, control, making sure things get done right. A great architect has to be both. And that same kind of tension, it's all over the technical pillars, too. Honestly, a huge part of an architect's job is the art of the trade-off. Think about quality attributes. You're always making tough calls. For instance, you can crank up security with things like multi-factor authentication and super complex passwords. But guess what? You're probably making the system harder to use.
There's no single perfect answer. The architect's job is to find the right balance for that specific situation and be able to defend that choice.
All right, enough theory. Let's make this real. How do all these pillars actually work together when the rubber meets the road on a real project? Let's just walk through a classic scenario. So picture this. You're tasked with migrating a big, old, monolithic application to a microservices architecture. Your business strategy pillar kicks in to build a business case. You're not just doing it because it's cool, you're doing it for faster time to market. Your human dynamic skills help you negotiate with teams who are, a little resistant to change. The design pillar is where you're figuring out service boundaries and API contracts. The IT environment pillar forces you to consider what platform it'll run on, like Kubernetes. And finally, your quality attributes pillar makes you think about things like network latency and making sure the system is resilient. See? You need every single one. So, as we start to bring this all together, what's the big picture here? What's the end game? Mastering this framework isn't just about collecting a new set of skills. It's about fundamentally changing your identity within your organization. It's a total transformation. It's about going from being a technologist who is basically an order taker, someone who just builds what they're told, to becoming a proactive strategist who helps the business figure out what it should build in order to win. Okay, so if you remember just 3 things from all this, please make it these. First, architecture, at its core, is about delivering real, measurable business value, period. Second, those soft skills, human dynamics, they aren't optional. They are absolutely non-negotiable for success. And third, you, as the architect, are the ultimate owner of the system's quality. If you don't fight for it, nobody else will. And with that, I want to leave you with one final question to chew on. As you think about your own career, your own strengths and weaknesses, which of these 5 pillars is your biggest opportunity for growth right now? Which one are you going to intentionally focus on building next?